How did I end up with so many capos? Is the real question. Full disclosure, all these capos are totally awesome. They all work great. But only one of them was totally worth the money and time spent researching them, so you're welcome. Get ready. I'm going to talk about my non-negotiables with capos today. A few things I'm kind of always hopeful for, but never really find, and how these all compare, how they stack up. So here we go. Capo dorkery. Coming at you. What's up? My name is Kyle Orla. If you're new here, this is my studio where I work on all things folk music inclined. Today, though, is a special day where we're talking about capos. It's gonna be good. I'm not really the kind of player who's interested in like guitar gizmos or gadgetry. I kind of uphold the ethos that, you know, any guitar is better than no guitar, and sometimes that friction of knowing you deserve better than what you have creates the best art. And gear is no different. When you do something for long enough, you start to collect things, and you know, I started with the cheapest capo possible to now building this like unhealthy infatuation with finding the perfect capo. See, the kind of music I play, a capo is an essential tool. There is this little feather right here. I'm gonna grab it. The capo is an essential tool, and you know, I believe you should definitely know your guitar well enough to not need a capo, but there are certain styles and tunes where it's just not the same song without the capo. I am on this personal mission to find a capo that matches the integrity and quality of these old instruments and the music that we play on it. And I know if you're a regular viewer here, you're into these old instruments and music just as much as I am, so you may find something of value. If not, just check out some of my cool capos. So non-negotiables, it has to be brass. For me, it has to be brass. I don't know why. Well, I do know why. This was my first kind of nice capo, and it's the Shub. And it just has a nice quality, you know? It feels good in your hands, it feels sturdy. I like that brass shows the years. And stainless steel is just a little too sterile for my taste. So anyway, it has to be brass, and so the page is out. So this is the Page Cradle capo. These are great, and it's the reason I have to play cradle capos now. So that's a non-negotiable. I want to combine these two, because I want it to be brass, but I want it to be a cradle capo. The next would be cost. Now, I want it to be under $100. It doesn't shoulder out every capo because you can buy used stuff for cheaper, and I'm definitely okay with checking out the used market. Intonation is another one. Now, I haven't found intonation to be too big of a problem once I stopped using those Kaisers, but it is harder to fine-tune the clamp style capos than it is the cradle style. So you can pull yourself out of tune pretty easily with that clamp style. It's just a little bit harder to finesse. The cradle style, the whole thing is finessing. So all that to say, I'm not too worried about the intonation part, but it is a non-negotiable. Okay, bonus points, self-centering. Now they all advertise that they're self-centering, and none of them are. So I'm always kind of hoping it will be self-centering. And honestly, I never really even thought about that self-centering should be an option. But they all say it, and so now I kind of expect it. And not one of them is, so. But I'm looking for it. It'd be great if I could find it. All right, so first up, let's check this out. This is Dave's Ultimate Brass Guitar Capo. There's actually two Elliott capo brands. So this being the cheaper of the two, and this is Dave Elliott, not to be confused with Phil Elliott. And those ones are in a whole different price bracket. Those are like in the 200 and up. This was like $50 when I bought it. I think it's more like almost 90 now. So it's still under the $100 price point, which is great. It is brass, so it meets my aesthetic. But it's a little bit chunky. It's just kind of, it's not, you know, I've always been a little bit embarrassed of it, to be honest. I put this chunky, big old palatial capo on my little parlor guitar, and I've always just kind of felt that it looked a little bit like, I don't know, just juxtaposition of these two things. As far as function goes, it is like a two-handed capo. It does not self-center, as you can see. Like if I pulled that with one hand, it's pretty annoying to get it just right on. It's possible, right? But you know, it's definitely gonna wanna wander. The thumb screw is pretty freaking big, and I've always kind of thought that was a little bit ridiculous. Apparently these two posts, though, part of the design that help it not over tighten are these posts, and so maybe that's the only way you can get away with that, because over tightening your capo is gonna be what throws you out of tune. I've never had this capo feel like it was out of tune, so So we're good on that, actually. Next, this is the Yamaha CP200. Now, it looks pretty dang similar to the Elliott. Very similar design. It has those same stabilizing posts. The wheel is even bigger, though. Look at that thing. Look at that. That's crazy. But it is a little more elegant, I think. It's not as like rigid and chunky. I also really enjoy these nice little leather strips that are on the inside. No matter how careful I was, this did chew up my finish just a little bit in the case. Not a lot, but you know, I've had this for about a year, and so there's a little bit of capo wear there now. This seems to protect against that. This capo is actually a copy of an older capo called the Golden Gate capo. And I don't know too much about that other than that those capos are pretty expensive and I think very hard to find. These capos are also getting extremely hard to find and expensive. You can find one currently on eBay for like $400. This one was $40 on Reverb, so I snatched it up. And I've always wanted to try these. So we'll see, can we do this with one hand? Actually, that's actually pretty nice. Let's try that again. That's the nicest one-handed capo move I've actually ever had. Perfectly parallel with my fret, and that was with one hand. I'd probably still do it with two hands just because, I don't know, I'm just used to that. But that's really nice. I wonder if it has something to do with this. So it's got this nice round pad, much more stable feeling than this little one in the Dave Elliott one. That could be what makes it center better. I'm not really sure. Either way, it's got a really nice feel. The intonation is, I'm telling you, but I'm using a phone tuner. Intonation is great. All right, last here we have the Cat Eyes capo. Other than having the goofiest name in the bunch, the Cat Eyes, although CP200 is not much better of a name, but the hallmark of this capo is that it's freaking tiny. I mean, look at it compared to the CP200. I mean, you could fit two of those inside this capo, which is just ridiculous. So it's an elegant, very cute little capo, and it's handmade by a guy down in Illinois. Another Phil, his name is Phil Wyatt. They're advertised as precision capos. Everything down to the little screw is all handmade by him. So they should be over $100. You know, they're I don't do anything for less than $100, and I'm broke all the time. You know, and I don't make anything quite as amazing as this. So yeah, I found mine though on Reverb for $40. So there you go. I've always wanted to try one of these because, you know, I see people play these. Like, if they're good enough for Jake Eddy, they're probably good enough for me too. So these are brass, and this one's actually what's called antique brass. It's their steampunk offering, which I love. So kind of a added point to me is this kind of patinaed, you know, antique brass. It already looks old. Another cool thing about these capos is this little V saddle. And what they claim is that helps with self-centering, so we'll see. So what you get here is 2 points of contact instead of one with like the rounded saddle. That can be an advantage, I suppose, but another thing is it would be great for a vintage guitar with a V neck. And so it's almost worth keeping around just for that alone, because I do have a few of those guitars. Let's see if it does indeed self-center, which it definitely does not. That's really bad, actually. Here, let's try it again. No, that's really bad. So it doesn't self-center, which is fine. Most of them don't. I'm amazed that Yamaha one does. So it's definitely a two-hander, just fine. I'm used to that. One thing though is that the threads are kind of picky. Like unless it's perfectly straight and you're not pulling it one way or the other, the threads kind of bind right there. Do you hear that? You see. Which, that kind of sucks. This wheel is tiny. I mean, that's a tiny little thumb wheel. So I'm almost wondering, because this is used, if somebody did kind of strip this thread out a little bit. It doesn't look to be that stripped, and I did oil the threads, but you can, that's not good. So that's kind of a bummer. I do know these things are supposed to have a lifetime warranty. Not for me, because I got it used, of course. But yeah, it intonates the same as the other ones did, so it is just kind of a bummer that the threads are sticky. So I really want to like this capo, and I really do, because it's got the look I like, but I think it's kind of like a minus point for that. Dang. All right, like I said, I'd be happy owning any of these capos, but I have been keeping track of the score, which one won out. So it's a tie between the Cat Eyes and the Elliott at 3 points, and the Yamaha completely smashes it with 5 points. So this is gonna be my new capo. Pumped. Alrighty, well, keep an eye on my web store. I might end up throwing one of these or both of these capos in the used section on my web store. I also I also got merch on the web store. So if you've liked any of my videos in the past, or like this one and you want to support what I'm up to, and I don't know, just represent, get a shirt, man. These are awesome. This is going to be the cover of the new book we're working on over on the Patreon page. And it was drawn by this guy, Minute Illustrations. You should check him out. Obviously, R. Crumb inspired. And yeah, check that out on the web store. And otherwise, we'll see you at whatever is popping up over here. Take care.